Joining us now on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline via Zoom is college football insider, writer of Extra Points, Matt Brown. Matt, welcome back to the show. And apparently, when it rains, it pours, quite literally, whether it's bad college football news or just your part of the country.
Yeah, we had a little mini hurricane in Chicago yesterday, which is not something I thought I was going to have to experience by moving so far away from the ocean. But the arc worked, and now we're ready for a different kind of flood.
Okay, so you're prepared for that. How can we all be prepared for what we don't know is going to happen with college football?
Yeah, I think if you're a BYU fan, one of the most frustrating things about the last couple of weeks and moving forward is how much of this is really just not in control of your institution. You have a smart athletic director. You can make calls all over the country. But if all of the other schools that you were going to play are going to make independent decisions about canceling football or postponing football, there's not really anything you can do. There's not any greater body that's advocating specifically for BYU. So at this point, I think all you can do is keep your expectations low and measured. Realize that you're doing everything that you can, and that your season's going to be in the hands of not just other administrators, but also how this country responds to COVID-19.
Yeah, in theory, BYU could just play, right? They're an independent. They're not beholden to a league, right? But if several of the Power Fives, and who knows if all of them will end up here, they have all the money. They could handle the liability of things, you would think, but they still don't want to play. That's not a good sign for the rest of college football.
Yeah, that's the one, I guess, silver lining here is you don't have broadcast deals tied up with another conference. You don't really need anyone else's permission. You can do what's best for your institution. And if you can find enough people to play, that gives you a lot more flexibility. Notre Dame had that same flexibility too. That lets them set up this kind of arrangement here with the ACC. The tricky thing is just finding enough schools. I think you'd be pretty concerned right now about what's happening at the FCS level. There's not going to be an FCS playoff, and schools now have to realize, does it make sense for me to play 3 non-conference games just to collect a paycheck and then try to table everything for a couple of months? Some schools I've indicated they'd like to do that. We have some service academies that play by different rules, but everyone's doing things a little bit different, and especially given the last 48 hours out west, I think building out that roster of teams is going to be challenging for BYU, especially after the Mountain West's recent decision.
Yeah, so that becomes the question, right? And we were talking about, okay, the American Athletic Conference, we had Mike Oresco on, the commissioner, Friday. He loves BYU. I think he'd love to have BYU in the league, frankly. And that's always an option in the future, but that's a topic for another day. Does BYU just get a bunch of AAC teams as much as possible? Do they get any independents remaining? UConn, now UMass, not in the mix. What does BYU do? Where does BYU go from here? What do you think?
I think you call everybody. The American Athletic is the conference right now that makes the most sense, because they're saying, at least publicly, we want to play as many out-of-conference games as we possibly can. And that suddenly means they have a bunch of inventory. And you have a lot of athletic directors at those institutions that have already worked with BYU. You have a conference office that already has a positive relationship with BYU. So that makes sense. The other independents, and I have been writing about this for a couple of months, it's tough sledding, because for most of those schools, if you don't have the guaranteed game contracts, that $2-3 million guaranteed coming in, financially, it doesn't really make sense to play football. And that's what UConn and UMass have decided. I would be shocked if New Mexico State doesn't make a similar decision within the next couple of days. And that basically just leaves you and Liberty and an Army, and you can't play Liberty 6 different times. So if you're going to try to fill out that schedule, I know, not with that attitude, right? But I would imagine looking to the East is probably your best chance to get lots of games.
Yeah, it's quite the conundrum that BYU is facing. But, hey, the Sun Belt, Conference USA, they're trying to follow the pattern of the American Athletics. So we'll see what Tom Homo can string together. But, Matt, because you live quite literally in the heart of Big Ten country, and the Big Ten important people are meeting as we speak, what do you think is going to happen today with the Big Ten? Because we saw a really big paradigm shift yesterday when it was, Big Ten's going to cancel the season, and then Jim Harbaugh comes out and Ryan Day comes out, these powerful voices saying, we got to keep doing what we can do to try and play this season. What's going to happen within the Big Ten Conference?
It is a fascinating question right now. And this, what we've seen over the last 36 hours, I think just clearly demonstrates how different the Big Ten is now that Jim Delaney's retired. For all that you could say about him, good or bad, he was really good at presenting a unified front within all of these institutions. And now you have a brand new athletic commissioner, somebody who hasn't really worked in college athletics for very long. And also Ohio State, one of the premier, most powerful institutions in that conference, just changed university presidents. So you have somebody coming in just new on the job, and there's a power vacuum. And when that power vacuum isn't filled, suddenly athletic directors and coaches and all of these other people have rushed to fill it. And I don't think the university presidents and the conference office were prepared for that. There's a lot of reticence to play this college football season at the Big Ten level. A lot of these schools are very worried about liability. They're very worried about the potential long-term health issues that come from COVID-19 that are unrelated to death, right? It's not a binary situation. You either get better in 2 weeks or you die. These schools think, hey, there's some risks that we don't understand about your cardiovascular system, about your central nervous system, and they don't really want to do it. But there's a lot of pressure. Coaches, players, state politicians, state governors that are pushing them to play. So right now, I wouldn't be shocked if they decide to punt again, which is a very Big Ten thing to do, rather than make a big decision.
Hey, even the president of the United States got involved in the conversation yesterday. So the political pressure is real right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, there's a lot of red states in the Big Ten footprint. There's a lot of red governors, and a lot of these public institutions have regents that are politically appointed. So and this is definitely true within the South too. Your academics may say one thing, your coaches may say one thing, and then the government and the politicians are going to say another thing too. I know how frustrating this is for fans because so many people want sports to be a refuge and a distraction from politics. But right now, on every level, these are all political issues. You can't separate them, especially for state institutions that are literally governed by politicians.
It feels like the SEC holds the cards to whether we will actually play a season. Because if they don't play, then there's not really a reason for the ACC or the Big 12 to really do it. It feels like they're waiting for the SEC to make a move. What do you think of that idea?
I think, honestly, the big wild card right now is the Big 12. Because I think you have some of these schools within the SEC and the ACC that are committed saying, listen, we've gone our separate ways from the Big Ten and the Pac-12 before. We did that with the Bowl Alliance system. We did that with the Sanity Code. We've done that with a bunch of other hot-button issues. We could theoretically do this again. But right now it's reported that administrators within the Big 12 are honestly torn. And if that league with that many powerful institutions decides that they want to postpone or wait, a football season of just schools in the Southeast, I think that becomes really politically untenable. The SEC right now, they want to play until the troops say that you can't play anymore. But if the Big 12, which could still flip either way, changes, that makes that conversation much more difficult within the Southeast.
Matt, it was fascinating to watch Scott Frost, the Nebraska head coach, yesterday say essentially, look, if the Big Ten shuts us down, we're ready to go somewhere else and play football. I mean, just crazy, unprecedented things. And the Nebraska fan base is crazy enough to hop on board that Scott Frost train and follow him wherever he leads because of his history with the program. Is it feasible that these major programs could break away for one season and defy the conference? Do you see that happening?
It's funny. Ryan Day at Ohio State said something kind of similar after a member of the Ohio State beat asked that kind of question. He indicated, hey, we have to pursue all potential options here. And if there's one thing that I've known about writing an awful lot about conference realignment, it's that coaches are not the people that are the most important decision makers in that room. I've asked around over the past couple of days, and I don't want to say it's impossible because nothing over the last month has made any sense. But it would be extremely unlikely for a school like Nebraska or Ohio State or Oklahoma or USC to go play in another conference for a year because they don't own their broadcast rights. Those are arrangements that are owned collectively by their conference. They're owned tied to ESPN. They're tied to Fox. They're tied to the Big Ten Network. And they would need the rest of those conference peers to agree to suspend those rights for a year and then figure out where that money goes if they play somewhere else. So Notre Dame could do that because they own everything. BYU could theoretically do that. They own everything. At the FCS level, we saw a couple of schools in the Colonial Athletic, which is a powerhouse FCS conference, indicate that they would pursue an independent schedule. Now they're not. And you can do that if your media revenue is $100,000 a year. And that led to a lot of hurt feelings within that league. There could be real problems there, but you could do it. When that money is $50 million, And when you look at all of the institutional sacrifices as a school Nebraska made to get in the Big Ten, they're not going to risk all that so Scott Frost can go 6-6 and go play in the GameStop Bowl. Like that's not something that makes sense.
That doesn't make sense. You're exactly right. And BYU would know about creating, hurt feelings in a conference due to TV issues. Yeah, BYU would know. So just call Tom. He can tell you what happened with Wyoming, right? When you look at what the coaches and players are doing, obviously the player movement, and the coach is saying this, I think that is perfect timing, because then it makes the administrators the bad guys if they don't play college football. I think that's well played by them. Oh, it's not our fault. We wanted to play.
I think it's smart too. I mean, I have to be honest, as a reporter, I love the idea of college athletes becoming more empowered to say what's on their mind generally. And I think as reporters and as fans, we have to realize sometimes we're not going to agree with them. But if we want to encourage them to actually speak and use that voice and power, we have to support them, regardless, right? And I think this is a really good example. You're right. It put all of the power, all of the pressure right back on the administrators. And then the athletes, I think, were very smart and laid out. Not only do we really want to play, but here's exactly what we need to make that happen. And those demands, now I'm not talking about like the Pac-12 United. I'm talking about the stuff that came out at midnight a day or two ago about here are the things that we need in order to play football, which we really want to do. Those are reasonable. Those are things I think lots of individual administrators would agree to want to make this happen. So you're right. If there's going to be a bad guy, it's going to be a university president. It's going to be a suit. And these are people that are not used to being in the public crosshairs at the same way that a coach or a player is.
Matt Brown, college football insider, publisher of Extra Points. Matt, remind the people how they can find your stuff.
You bet. You can find me on Twitter at MattBrownEP. You could subscribe to Extra Points at extrapoints.substack.com. You could subscribe for free and get 2 newsletters a week that dig deep into the off-the-field issues like political engagements or higher ed policy that shape college football. You can also subscribe for $7 a month or $70 for the whole year and get 4 newsletters a week. That's original journalism, that's analysis, that's information from experts that shape all of the world for college athletics that we know now.
He is building the arc of hope for all college football fans. Matt Brown, also an elite pennant collector, my friend.
Yeah, you have more now.
I do. People have been sending them to me, which is wonderful. We've got pennants back here from Maine and Virginia and Southeast Missouri State. And I've got this, like vintage 1930s college football map poster. Like I love this stuff. If I'm stuck here in my basement for the next couple of months, I can't hit the road. Might as well make it look as nice as possible.
Absolutely. Matt, thanks for the time, man.
No problem, fellas. Anytime.